Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this special evening in the locker room right here on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Alan Locker. Actors Bradley Cole and Trent Dawson are joining me tonight to tell us about the 19th annual Daytime Stars and Strikes fundraiser weekend in New York City. This will be the first time in person, live, since the pandemic began. This year, Wendy Medore has put together 4 events taking place at Port Authority's Frames Bowling Center. Proceeds from the different events will benefit the Autism Society of America and the Jerry verDorn Scholarship Fund. The scholarship honors Jerry's legacy of his love of theater and daytime stars and strikes, which he hosted for 18 years. The Jerry verDorn Scholarship sends children with autism to theater camps tuition free. On Saturday night, on Saturday afternoon, October 7th from 2 to 4 p.m., Trent Dawson will host a play reading with As the World Turns alumni benefiting Trent's theater company, Katona Classic Stage. On Saturday night, October 7th from 8 to 10, Bradley will host Bradley Cole and Friends concert. All proceeds from that evening will go to the Jerry verDorn Scholarship Fund. And then on Sunday, October 8th from 12 to 2 p.m., Daytime Stars and Strikes Bowling for Autism. Liz Kiefer and the one and only Ron Raines will co-host this fan favorite bowling event with an 80s dress-up theme and contests for best dressed, strikes, spares, etc. And food and drink is included in the ticket price. Soft drinks, that is. On October 8th from 3 to 5, the 5th annual Bauer Barbecue, hosted by everyone's favorite Bauer, Michael O'Leary. Food and soft drinks included in that ticket price. So let's get started. Let me bring out Bradley Cole and Trent Dawson to learn more about October 7th. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good. Very good.
I had a lot to say. It's exciting, though. You know, I know the fans have been asking for a long time. The fans have been disconnected from all of you in person since the pandemic. Even longer for some, especially since our shows have been off the air for so long. Yeah. What do you remember about fan events? Being in person.
Go ahead, Trent.
Well, I've been lucky in that starting with the 2020, I just started doing stuff online and getting people together. Alan, you helped with that tremendously early on. And we were able to do benefits and get a lot of, especially World Turns people. And then we did one had World Turns people going way back. So we've been able to do a lot of things like that online. This is so, I forgot you. Thank you for reminding me that this is the first one that's live since the pandemic. This is a thrill, absolute thrill, because it's very fun to do it online, but it's so much better in person. So I'm really looking forward to it. I can't remember the last one. Bradley, when was the last one in person that you went to?
A fan event?
Yeah.
Other than my shows and my concerts, it's been well, we were trying to figure that out before while we were waiting
Backstage,
in the green room.
Yeah, that's right.
I think 2012, I want to say.
Wow.
Something like that, something around there. Yeah.
Well, one of the fans may tell us. Well, before we talk more about that, how are your summers going, Trent? Any fun things with the kids that you've done?
Well, I was telling you in the green room, we just got a new kitten off the street who was to replace the one we had to put down. So we have an old cat and a young cat, and she is playing with the new toy. And she was a mess. She had ringworm and fleas and all this kind of stuff. And we nursed her back to health. And she has no reason to love people, and she absolutely adores the family. So the kids are happy. The wife is happy. Everyone's happy. So
what's the kitten's name?
Loa, because the former kitten was named Koa, which when we rescued her, she had been hit by a car, and Koa stands for kill on arrival. So when we found her, they thought they were going to have to put her down. Instead, the vets had some young surgeons who wanted to try to repair him. It was a him. They did it. They succeeded. Koa was with us for years, and then he passed back in the spring. So now we got Loa, which is love on arrival. That's. I didn't name him or her, but I like the name. Loa, I think is a good name.
Well, we're cat people too. We have Copa and Nala. So we should all get together.
Lola, isn't it Lola at the Copa?
Yeah. That'll be like our kids, Bradley. Like I keep naming my kids the wrong one, the wrong names over and over. It's the same. Our cats have too similar of names. I think they would be, we have a tough time talking to them.
Yes.
And Bradley, I know you've been traveling for music, but any fun
Yeah.
things you've been able to do with the kids this summer?
Well, we went to Japan, which we hadn't. Speaking of, since the pandemic, we used to go every summer, and we hadn't been back since the coronavirus.
Yeah, 1 month ago tonight, you were performing there.
We were, yeah. So I kind of did a double sort of business and pleasure. It was mostly pleasure. The guys that I played with over there, I had known before, and they arranged a little situation where I could go up and play a little mini concert. So that was great. That was in Kobe. But the real story was my son. He was over there playing baseball. Yeah, he's on the high school baseball team here. And, nowadays they play year round. It's pretty intense. When I played baseball, we just had the season and that was it. Now they're constantly playing. And he was looking for a place to play this summer. And we wanted to get out of Las Vegas because it's so hot. And one of my wife's friends knows Hideo Nomo. And just out of the blue, after we had been searching and giving up hope, they called and they said, yeah, Nomo says, bring Sean. He has a baseball team over there. And so I said, what? So literally, it was divine intervention. So Sean got to go over there and play on Nomo's baseball club in Japan for 2 months. He got to live in this little dorm by himself and go shopping for his food. He got to grow up a little bit. Wow. And so it was great. So then when I went over there later, when he was finishing up his season there, I got to go see him play. And it was just a fantastic trip. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. What a incredible, I always say, I don't have many regrets in life, but living abroad, during college, but here he is, getting to play his favorite sport.
Yeah, it was quite an opportunity. And then actually, Mr. Nomo, who was literally worshipped over there like a god, he was really the first Japanese professional baseball player that made it huge. He played for the Dodgers, as you probably know him. For you non-baseball fans, he was an all-star. He led the league in strikeouts 3 years in a row and rookie of the year. So quite a huge accomplishment. Anyway, Sean got to work with him, and Sean's a pitcher, and Nomo gave him a few pointers and worked with him in the bullpen too. So, I mean, just priceless. It was fantastic.
That is amazing.
That is really, that's a kid's great summer story to share, boy.
Yeah. Well, he has to do his college application. So I said, well, there you go. There's your essay right there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That really is. Hey, Trent, talk about Katona Classic Stage. You started this, of course, March of 2020, unknowingly that the pandemic was, going to strike. What has surprised you most, or what has been the most difficult thing? And I don't mean like the pandemic hitting. So if you take that equation, because of course that's going to be difficult. But what has surprised you most about running?
It's funny you say that, because so many theaters, and Bradley, you probably know about this too, because so many venues, live performance venues, just shut down. They're about to shut down Westport Country Playhouse, which is Paul Newman's theater in Connecticut. It's been there for 92 years. So all of these places are shutting down. And my friends who work in these big theaters in Minneapolis and Chicago and all this kind of stuff, they were calling me up during the pandemic, or I was calling them because I was starting the company. And they said, this is terrible. We're just laying people off and all this sort of thing. But what was cool for us is we were such a tiny little boat. They were these big ships, and they had to steer, and they had all this massive overhead and structure, and we didn't have anything. So we just stuck it out, and we started a film festival up here. One thing we have is a lot of land. So not me personally, but in this area, it's horse country. And so we put some cars on a drive-in like movie theater, and people could stay in their cars in 2020 and be safe. We blew up a big screen, and it went international. And last weekend we just had our 4th one. Then now we're indoors at a really beautiful cinema. And so we just stuck it out. I think, the most challenging thing is trying to figure out how, to raise money, as anyone that runs a nonprofit or any kind of business knows. But if you put on something really good, and I've been lucky, I've been in this for 30 years now, and I know a lot of friends. I call in a lot of favors for the first couple of shows, that the people will come and they'll buy tickets, and they'll write you checks, they'll support you. And we have a nice little stride going right now. We have some really good stuff that's happening right now. I'm very excited about it. And I'm just trying to block out what's happening at the Taper and at BAM and at, these places where there's a lot of stuff happening. We're okay, knock on wood, for now. It's also, and I'm sorry, I won't stay too long on this, but I was in the city for almost 20 years. And the idea, and like in my one bedroom on the Upper West with all my cats, Bradley, we used to live very close together, I remember. The idea of being really involved in a community in this kind of sense was like, you want to be just left alone in the city. And I knew if I ever got to the right town, I would want to start something like this, because that's how I cut my teeth, was going to theaters like this all over the country. And I loved them. I've loved showing up in some small town in Wisconsin and doing Shakespeare or whatever. And this is the right town. This is the right area. They really support the arts and they love it. And now I'm all involved with the community and community leaders and politicians and civic leaders and business owners and chambers of commerce, all this kind of stuff that 10 years ago I would have been like, I don't know how to navigate any of that. So that's been one of the great joys. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah,
but it's been really
absolutely.
fun to be a part of a
Absolutely.
place. My kids are in school here now. That whole thing. It's all you're kind of in the scene.
Can I ask you a question, Trent?
Yeah.
So my brother Darren, and he runs a theater in New York. And well, let me ask you, do you feel that the audience is back and that the theater has recovered since the pandemic? Or is it still, are they still reticent to come out?
Get back to the small ship, big ship thing. Like, we didn't have an audience yet. So anytime we have bigger numbers, it's great. We're like, oh, more people are coming. I will say, and this has kind of become my pitch, is that there's so much content on screens like what we're on right now.
Right.
Everyone has a really expensive camera in their pocket. All the editing software out there that they made the Spider-Man movie, you can make it at home. I do it too. And there's so many streamers and YouTubes and everything, and that's great.
Yeah.
But there's so much content, but there's nothing. I think people are craving something live.
Human.
And that's some of the feedback we get back as living, breathing people, not something that's been edited and crafted and this sort of thing. I like doing that too. I'm not knocking it, but I think it's a nice outlet for a lot of people for looking for live stuff. So the answer to the question is yes. It seems like it's coming back.
So the water's warm. It's okay, everybody. Let's go. Let's get into these shows.
I'm going to Broadway on Saturday. I'm going to see Goodnight Oscar.
Oh, I want to see that.
Nice.
I want to see
it closes soon, and I've been dying to see it.
Man.
I haven't seen a lot lately, but I'm not afraid to go. But I would like. There's so many things I want to see before they close. Bradley, the rock concerts. My God, we've had a blast at them.
I know.
What I don't remember what prompted you to start.
It kind of evolved. I remember when you're talking about the original.
Yeah, the first time.
Well, I had made a record, and then I was on Guiding Light. So this was 20. I don't even want to say it's been so long.
It's hard to flashback.
Anyway, let's just say it was the early days when I was on the show, and I was doing these concerts here and there, and I started doing one in New York, and then I think I invited Ricky Paul Golden, and maybe one or two other people, and then it became something else. The next year, I think I had Kim, and then eventually it became this thing where we wanted to
wait. Kim who?
You. I've been looking for you.
I've been looking for you too.
I've been looking for you.
That's great.
I may or may not be around October 6th now. I mean, there's a chance we may still be in town.
Well, we hope. Good.
October 6th.
Hi, Trent.
No, October 7th.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
Oh, October 7th, right.
Yeah.
We need that voice on stage, Zimmer.
Yeah.
There's a song waiting for you. You know which one it is, right? Proud Mary. You got to do that one again.
Proud Mary.
Oh God, yes. Oh man.
That was Kim.
Okay.
Kim did Proud Mary one year, and literally it was. Well, you were there, Alan. It was just stunning. It was fabulous. It was so good. You're amazing. Wow.
I can do that. I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but I I will be. If it looks like I'm going to be here, then we will.
And you got to
we
do
will
ring
get
my
together.
bells. Ring my bells.
AC is yelling that we will still be here and not in Taos. So
Woo!
AC, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to call him. I need enforcement.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, quickly.
Come on. Oh,
We lost her.
what she
There
did.
we are.
There
All right,
they are.
AC.
Hey, AC.
And there's Trent. You know Trent.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, we're gonna go because.
Oh my God, you guys look
Show.
great. You guys look amazing.
Bye, guys.
Kim, I love
Love
you.
you.
Bye.
Wow.
That was
Great.
sneaky. I like
What
that.
a
Alan. That
great
was really-
surprise.
Well,
Yeah.
she actually just literally texted to say hello, and I said, "You want to pop on?" And she said yes. So
Oh, that's great.
that was good.
Well, that was a nice segue. I mentioned Kim, and then
Yeah,
you bring her on.
exactly. It worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for that. Oh my gosh, what a great thing to see Kim
Well,
and AC.
we just learned she's going to be in town. AC.
Well, listen, we're gonna
AC
put
confirmed it.
the screws. Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna. So she's coming. But to answer your question, yeah. So it kind of evolved, and then I decided I wanted to, like any good actor, do it for charity, and I had chosen my charity to be the Red Cross. So, and then we started getting a little crazy. I think Trent, you were there part of we did these themes, like we did 60s. Were you part of the 60s one?
I did 60s. I did.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
what
you
you're
sang-
talking about.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Oh my God.
That
was great.
Look at Rob Vogue. Oh my God, that's great. Oh,
Stephen Bergman sent me that today.
Oh,
awesome. Well, we had so much fun. And Trent, you sang that Paul McCartney song. That was fantastic.
Oh, I'm
remember,
glad you brought it up. I was going to ask what Trent sang. I didn't remember.
I just started dating the woman who is now my wife, and so I
Oh,
sang.
really?
I sang something. Not something. What's the song? I just lost it out of my head.
It was My Love. No, it was
No.
I'll
I'll remember
one.
in a second. It's a really wonderful love song.
Maybe I'm amazed.
Maybe I'm amazed.
Yeah. Maybe I'm amazed.
Yes. So I sang that to her. Thank you for letting
So
me do
you
that. because
closed the deal that night.
I closed
then.
the deal that night. Yes.
Okay. So listen, I mean, I think I have something to do with that
Yes,
marriage.
I think you
Okay.
do.
And the
I'm
kid.
quite happy.
You sealed the deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is. Do you, Bradley, have a favorite of those or a favorite performance?
Well, gosh, they just kept getting wilder. Each one was so special, but of course the 60s, and then the 70s. We did the 70s, which was those that was even wilder and crazier. And then the last one we did was interesting because I think we mixed. It was One Life to Live and Guiding Light, and Gina Tognoni came, and we did it in a small theater, the Soho Playhouse, and it was to raise money for the tsunami in Japan. So it was really emotional for me, and that was so each one, to answer your question, I mean, they were just all so great and so special. So it was so much fun. Yeah.
Well, Trent, I want to talk about the play reading, but first I want to welcome Wendy Medore, who is the Daytime Stars and Strikes founder, who has worked tirelessly since day one, networking, securing sponsors, all of the actors, creating events, funds, and awareness for autism, and the newly created Jerry verDorn Scholarship Fund.
Hey.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, can you guys
Hey,
hear me?
Wendy.
We can.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Good to see you guys.
Did you see Zimmer pop in?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? That's gold right there, right? Pure gold. That's awesome.
So it looks like she'll be in town.
Yeah.
Trent, tell us about the reading on October 7th and how it will help Katona and who, because I did not mention who will be there.
No, I was able to rope in a couple of actually very good friends. And I don't know if this happened to you, Bradley. Like some people I was really good friends on the show. And then I stay good friends with them, or our life happened, went our separate ways. And other people, I just got closer to them later. This happened to me with Katie and John Lindstrom and other people. And one of them that I've gotten much closer to just in the last 2 or 3 years, his family lives very close to closer to Katona, is Roger Howarth. And Roger is going to be in the play. which I've been trying to get him to do something, but he's on the shooting out there or he's back here. He apparently is planning to take a red eye back from LA on the 6th and come in the morning of the 7th. We're going to do a quick rehearsal and then do it. So that's how committed he is, which I can't thank him enough. And then the guy that I've been friends with for 20 years now is Michael Park, and he's also going to come and do some acting with us as well. And the play is very, very funny. It's called Art. It was done on Broadway. The playwright is this French woman, actually. She also wrote God of Carnage, which a lot of people know. That's done. It's very popular in regional theaters. It was also on Broadway, but it's a play about three men who are friends, and one of them buys a painting and spends a lot of money on it, and there's nothing on the canvas that they can see. So the other two friends start arguing about it, and the next thing you know, it's not about the art anymore. It's about these three guys and their friendships and their egos. But the playwright, she has a way of writing men in particular that's both very astute, but also very generous. She doesn't just two-dimensionalize them, but she has fun with their egos. And I've done it before as a reading, and it just kills. It's very, very funny. So, and with those two guys, I think we're in good hands. And I'm trying. I can't make any promises. I am trying to get some surprise guests that will come in and at least be in the audience with us. So that's
I know a lady in Florida who wants to come up.
Yes, and she has a wedding that weekend, so she can't. So I'm gonna.
Oh, she can't.
I'm gonna rope her in for something else. Yeah.
You two. That is Colleen Zank. You two should do love letters or something.
I would love to do that. They're doing that in the city now, I think, for some kind of benefit. It's always.
But I mean, fans would come out in droves to see the two of you together.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea. She's wonderful. So I just spoke to her a few days ago about this. She sounds incredible. Yeah, we talked about it. We just got to figure out what the project will be. I'll pitch that one to her. I think that would be great, Alan.
Wendy, are you excited to be doing this again in person?
Yes, I'm very excited. And first off, though, Trent, thank you, and Brad, thank you. I mean, this is going to be a nice little journey back to the city. Appreciate all your efforts and volunteering to do this for two good charities. And Alan, of course, thank you for everything. I mean, Alan's the reason we're in the 19th year, and didn't stop, when the pandemic hit. So this is amazing. I am so excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's gonna be good. I hope a lot of fans will join us in New York City for sure. I know some fans have asked about helping out. Are there ways that they can help besides buying tickets, which I hope they all do?
Yeah, really, there's several ways to help out. They can donate, they can sponsor, they can, the biggest thing is to buy those tickets and get there. We do have our ELF crew that's pretty solid, but we always appreciate anybody that wants to do a little extra for us. Absolutely, just send them my way.
Great, cool.
Thank you.
Great. Well, Bradley, I know we're still locking in people, but I like that we locked some. I like that we locked somebody in live.
Yeah, you gotta bring them on the show, Ellen. We close the deal right here.
We do.
Well, to be honest, I haven't really reached out to anybody yet. Just a couple of people, and so we'll see. But in any case, it's going to be a good show. Wendy and I have been going back and forth trying to figure out the space and all of that.
We'll include, try to include, of course, One Life people, Jerry.
Anybody who wants to perform is welcome. We just have to know, and so I can, warn the band and give them the charts and we can get the music right. But like I was saying, Wendy has secured a beautiful space for us, but it's not really meant for like a big band. So we may make it more of an intimate show, which I think the audience would appreciate anyway. So we'll see.
They will just appreciate seeing your faces, let alone you opening your mouth to sing.
Okay.
We all will.
I did pitch it to Michael Park. Last I heard, he was looking at the schedule. So hopefully.
I haven't. I'm going to have to talk to Michael. Yeah, I haven't reached out to him yet either. I mean, talk about a performer and a voice. Wow, he's always been amazing at our shows too. So love to have him.
We've really had some great people up on those stages performing.
Yeah, we have. And the great Ron Raines has been. I did get in touch with him, so he's. We've got a heavy pencil on him. So we'll see. I really can't say anything because I don't want to disappoint if they don't show. So.
No, absolutely. Wendy, I don't know if you saw, I showed this earlier.
Horrible.
And we definitely
Who are those people?
I know. And we definitely have to show this man.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Did you get to know him much, Bradley?
I did. Yeah. So I joined that show and made kind of a big splash because I was put with Kim Zimmer, you know, who was basically the star of that show, and Jerry really helped me because I mean I was, you know, not overly nervous, but I realized the weight of the storyline because but the amount of money they used to spend on these shows, right, Trent? Do you remember that?
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Laura Wright recently, and she was saying, "Gosh, it's so different now," and we were so lucky because we took the time. They built these sets, the costumes, everything. Anyway, Jerry really helped to calm me just by saying the little right thing here and there. I didn't have a lot of scenes with him. I came back. I was off the show for a little bit and came back as a different character, Jeffrey O'Neill. And, you know, in these shows, various actors get a lot of the writing. So I happened to be getting a lot of the writing. And I was a little bit nervous how other cast members and things like that were taking that. And so Jerry had a way of sort of lightening the situations. Yeah, I remember him coming into the dressing room or into the makeup room. I was in the chair and he said, "Oh, so I hear you're carrying the show now." He said, "Don't drop it. I got a mortgage, one of those big balloon things, you know." So oh my God. I just cracked up. So he just he was such a nice man, sense of humor, and I just loved him to death. And he was really a mentor, I think, not only to me, but to so many of the other actors too. So I just loved him to death.
We did a tribute this afternoon to Liz Hubbard, Trent, and Martha and Scott Bryce, who played Craig Montgomery originally, were talking about how sort of Liz was that for so many people, how, you know, being able to watch Liz just work. Do you remember? I mean,
yeah, I do. I mean, she was notorious for improvising, and you had to come in and really be on your toes. And I was one of those that really stuck to the script, and I did that because I knew the writers watched the show, so I didn't want to mess with whatever they were writing. And Liz was like, "Well, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm going to do it my way." And but the first time I worked with her, I was like, "Oh God, I don't know what." It wasn't so much about not knowing how to improv. It's just not in that environment, you know. And then the next few times I got to work with her, it was just a joy. And I spoke to her fairly recently. I spoke to her when we did like a reunion online. But, you know, I moved pretty close to her up here in Katona. I think she was just about 20 minutes away, maybe 30 minutes. We talked about doing something with her at Katona Classic Stage, and then we didn't get a chance. I know. I talked to her a long time one night about what she wanted to do and projects. And this was still back when, like, you could only plan 3 weeks in advance because there'd be a new variant or something. So it was always hard to plan out very far. And then we never got that chance. I would have loved to. She was amazing.
Oh, yeah. that really would have been amazing.
Yeah. What a career. I mean, what a career. Amazing.
Seriously. Yeah. Wendy, what are you excited about for this year's event?
I'm excited to have us all back together in person. I mean, I miss that. I mean, we have so much fun. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it is so worthy. I mean, we have, you know, established that Jerry verDorn Scholarship Fund besides the Autism Society, and we were able to award 3 scholarships this year for last year's show. So we, you know, and I'll say who they are. They're on the website. But the first one was First Stage Next Steps out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The second one was Chicago. Why, do you know that one, Trent?
I worked there, and in the 90s, I played Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet at First Stage Milwaukee. God.
Oh, that's amazing.
Toured there.
That is awesome. Yes. The second one is Chicago's Children's Theater Red Kite program for children with autism. And the Mayo Performing Arts, that's our third one. That's our most recent one, the Miracle Project out of Morristown, New Jersey. I don't know if any of you have seen it, and I'll say this to the viewers too.
It's near me, that one.
Yeah, so that Miracle Project, they did a documentary on the autism, the musical, and it won an Emmy. It's powerful.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they started it out in California, and then the Mayo Performing Arts adopted that program. So they were our third scholarship for the year. So we did 3 this year. And also to let you know that Jerry's wife, Beth, and I were the ones that interviewed these theaters. So it wasn't just
awesome.
it wasn't just a blank check. We interviewed the programs that they had and made those determinations to grant those scholarships. So they're very happy. It's awesome.
That's great.
Is Beth going to be able to join us in person?
Oh yeah. And let me tell you something, Bradley. She was so overwhelmed when I told her. I called her. I was working out in San Antonio last week, and I called her. I said, "Can you take a call?" And she's like, "Sure." I said, "I'm not going to cry, so you don't cry." And she said, "Okay." And I told her that, you were doing the concert and that all the funds were going to his scholarship exclusively. And that was, she choked up and she said, "Okay, I'm going to be there." And so we made arrangements that, she's going to get a hotel where we're at, and we're all going to go in the city together and go to your concert.
Oh, that's great. Oh my God.
Staying outside the city is because my BMW is going to be filled to max capacity to bring everything. And it's easier to bring it than ship it. So we'll be right outside the city. Go ahead. Sorry, Alan.
No, absolutely. That's fantastic. I'm really excited to meet a lot of the people who've been watching the locker room and attending all of the virtual, the As the World Turns reading we did, the Bauer Barbecue, the Daytime Stars and Stripes for the last couple of years. So I really hope everyone comes out the weekend of October 7th in New York City. The link is right here. The link is up on YouTube and on Facebook. Please join us in New York. Bradley, Trent, Wendy, thank you.
Thank you.
I will see you.
Thank you.
It will be amazing to see you all 3 in person.
Yes.
Yes.
And not in a little box on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
nice. Thanks so much, Alan. Thank you, Trent, and thank you, Bradley. Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
that.
Thank you. Thanks, Alan.
Bye,
Good.
everybody.
All right. Bye, Trent.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Don't forget, thank you to Bradley, Trent, and Wendy for stopping by, and Kim Zimmer for surprising us. We hope to see you in New York City in October for the 19th Annual Daytime Stars and Stripes Weekend. For more information and tickets, visit daytimestarsandstripes.com. Please join me tomorrow afternoon when Guiding Light and One Life to Live's Fiona Hutchison joins me live to look back at her time on both shows and share memories of her dear friend, Andrea Evans. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do so down below. Turn on notifications for reminders of all upcoming shows. And I will see you tomorrow afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this special night.